She mentions Victoria. We'll go over to Victoria for a moment because, of course, we know it's the People's Socialist Capital, Republic, down there. And constantly you've had all of these statues of Captain Cook, for some reason or another, being vandalised on Australia Day. I do this bit all the time. Captain Cook had nothing to do with the First Fleet. He was dead 9 years before they arrived. He came out and mapped the place. He did not settle it. You are going after the wrong person. But never mind, because they do keep going after him, specifically statues and monuments to him. And so the Yarra Council in Melbourne now says they're not going to put one of these monuments back because it keeps being attacked and it's just simply too expensive to keep repairing it. It had cost 15 grand. This happened on Australia Day last year. It was toppled and they'd put on it to Cook the Colony in red spray paint, as you can see there. It had cost 15 grand to repair, apparently, and they've already spent 100 odd grand over the past 25 years to maintain it. And so the council says, well, it's not worth putting it back now because it just costs too damn much and the vandals are going to come after it again. So you hand a win to the vandals. You send them the message that you can just go around vandalising, toppling statues and monuments and, well, they just won't be there anymore because you've made too much of a nuisance of yourself. Well, funnily enough, the Mayor of the Yarra Council, Stephen Jolly, says he's not giving in to the vandals. He said, I don't think it's a good idea to destroy statues of people from the past, but we simply can't afford it. If we wanted to keep it there permanently, we would probably have to have security guards there and more lighting. I just don't think the locals want that. And sure, I understand from a fiscal point of view what you are trying to say, but you can't tell me that this is not a win for the vandals. It's saying you get to decide what we celebrate and commemorate in this country on the basis of an axe and a can of spray paint. And I've made the point before that if you're going after monuments to the history of this country, it's effectively treasonous, right? Because you are attacking the foundations of this country. And we are now at a point where councils are saying, oh, well, you know, it's all too hard. We'll just put the thing in storage somewhere. We'll give it to the Captain Cook Society and it will never be seen in public again. It is a win for the vandals. I mean, this is open season now, saying to vandals, go after every statue and monument you don't like. If you attack it enough and it becomes too costly for us to fix it, we'll simply take the thing down. That's what they wanted in the first place.
If you don't have the money to fix it, it's pretty easy to solve that problem. You find the person who vandalised the monument and you invoice them for the repairs at the cost of the repairs. It's amazing in Victoria they can find a pregnant woman who makes a Facebook post that's against the government, but they can't find these people who year after year after year vandalise these Captain Cook statements. For the Mayor, Stephen Jolly, to say we can't afford to fix it, like you, Caleb, I would say you can't afford to not fix it, because to not fix it is to concede that Stephen Jolly, the Mayor, is not running the city of Yarra, but activists are running it. Indeed, I would argue the council themselves are activists because I don't think they're short of $15,000. They say in their report, as well as it being very expensive to fix, the monument had little to no significance. They say that the monument caused contention in the community, and they say that Captain Cook himself was a, quote, contested figure, of which goes to show the council have very little interest in finding any money to repair this. They actually would prefer it to be gone. And I think we can expect to see a lot more of this right across the country. Randwick Council here in Sydney took the longest time to decide whether or not they would repair their Captain Cook statue. They've decided to repair it, but they were dilly-dallying for a while thinking, oh, is it worth the cost? And I expect this will set a precedent. The City of Yarra not repairing it and letting it go will encourage every activist around the country, and every activist council will follow their lead and say, you know what, it's just better not to have these things.
Yeah,
there goes our history.
And if Randwick was tossing up whether to repair it this time, what do you think they're going to do next time? They're going to be like, look, we repaired it last time, it's happened again, we've got to call it quits. As a former city councillor, though, I do sympathise. I don't think it's legitimate in the case of Yarra's here, because like we say, $15,000 is a paltry sum. Trust me, when you're a city councillor, that is pocket change, not even. But you've got to weigh up what a ratepayer's willing to pay for this thing. So if it's a larger monument, as in the case of Randwick, the cost is greater. How many times are ratepayers willing to be like, yep, keep dipping into our weight. We really, really want that monument. We really want that statue. We really want that memorial in our park or wherever it may be situated. And that is where the council does have to come to grips with, OK, are we going to keep this up year in, year out? If they do, it's going to be extremely costly. And if they don't, as you say, Caleb, we simply won't have any of these.
But the question, though, is not do you want the monument? The question is, do you want law and order? That's the question.
No, because as you just argued, they don't want the monument. So it is very important because the imperative is on the council. And whether they want it or not, that's where the rubber hits the road. That's where the buck stops. That's where it gets re-erected 50 times or it gets pushed over twice and they're like, oh, sorry, $15,000 couldn't possibly justify that. It's got to go. So the political will actually is extremely important.
But it's 15 grand, right? So if we say, well, we're going to have to do it every year, there would be more than 15,000 properties in the Yarra Council. So just take $1 off everyone's rates bill and put it aside to repair the monument. Just say, well, that's budgeted. We've budgeted for that. That's what we have to do. It's $1 per property to make it happen.
That's what I'm saying. It's
just
the
do it.
political
Just do
will,
it.
and they don't have it.
Just do it.
So it comes down to, is this important to you? Is this a value? Clearly not if you're living in Yarra, in the city of Melbourne.